Behold, the glorious Khora Warframe, the best frame for all of the things, except for the things they are not the best at. Khora gets more of everything. More weapons, more enemies in one place at a time, more loot, more pets, which means more loot radar, more health and armor than most frames, more playstyle transforming augments. Where do I even begin? Ensnare groups enemies up. There are other ways to group enemies up, but this one keeps the enemies standing and puts them into a standing crowd all in the same place. That might sound like it doesn't matter, but it completely does, because it means you can get headshots on them when they're in a group. It means you can get, I'm gonna say it, punch through headshots. Punch through headshots, folks. We could just end the whole thing right here, but we'll keep going. You have Pilfering Strangledome. You can put that over the enemies in Ensnare and get more loot. Loot abilities are always really good because this is a looter shooter, and Pilfering Strangledome is uniquely positioned among them. You can place 2 Pilfering Strangledomes, which makes Khora the only loot frame that can create more loot in a location she is not present at. Think interception missions, or survivals in some cases, or defense in some cases, and also more loot at the location she's present at. You can group enemies up and use one Strangledome to just make more loot off of them right there, and then leave another one somewhere else so that as your allies kill stuff, it makes more loot there as well, which is very, very valuable. Strangledome is decent crowd control anyway, and you can use Whipclaw to hit the enemies inside. So it's a good thing that Whipclaw has an augment that isn't affected by strength and stacks with strength. Additively, it's basically just giving you strength. That means that you can build Whipclaw for a lot of damage without building a lot of strength, which means you can build a lot of range, which means you can group enemies up with Ensnare and Pilfering Strangledome to make more loot, which is what the game is all about in the first place. Better, Whipclaw echoes through Strangledome. If you hit its edge, it'll hit all the enemies inside for more damage, which is really, really good. And it's just a pseudo-exalted weapon. Like, that's good. Having another weapon is good. Generally, frames having another weapon is something pretty solid. Pilfering Strangledome is also not affected by strength, so there's potential for huge range from Ensnare, and it's just something that Khora wants. Like, range is good on Khora, and you get to get it while losing very little. Some of the most powerful things Khora does do not require strength, so that's awesome. And on top of all of that, you have Venari. There's a surprisingly large number of good things to say about Venari. Venari actually does good damage because status chance. Most companions have atrocious status chance. Most sentinel weapons have bad status chance. Venari has good status chance. And there are status elementals for companions. They're just normally bad because they only give you more of what your companion already has. Venari has good status chance, so you can get it to basically guarantee status procs, which is really good. You can have it proccing viral and slash and actually killing stuff. It's got its attack precept. It's also got a heal, so it can heal objectives. It can heal you, which is important. The heal's pretty significant. You get passive movement speed. That is based on strength, but more is more while you have Venari out. And the big thing is double loot radar, double vacuum, a revivable vacuum. Okay, well, on companions it's called fetch, but yeah, that's amazing. Not only does Khora make more loot, she's the best frame at having a vacuum. Now I know what you're thinking. Khora must be my favorite Warframe. Isn't that right?